Yeah, now they gotta be woke. Lights, camera, action, we ready to roll. All right, places, everybody, let's put on a good show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Intel Creator Challenge launch event. My name is Trisha Hirschberger. Today, I am joined by Alejandro Ojos. Thank you so much for being here with me to launch something new and very exciting. Tell us a little bit about it.
That's right. So today we're launching the 13900KS processor from the Raptor Lake architecture. We are very excited today. We have a great show that is going on.
Yeah, and the great show consists of modding some beautiful PCs. We've got 3 teams of PC modders who are here today, paired with some lovely content creators that Extra Life has brought over. And speaking of Extra Life, we're doing all of this to raise money for a good cause as well. So there's a lot that's going to be going on today. Okay, you're seeing it right here on the screen. We've got PC mod building. We've got some overclocking going on. Alejandro will...
You're doing some talking tech.
Talk tech a bit. What else do we have coming up?
We have a couple of interviews with Extra Live. We also have a Q&A. We have different views, segments about different things, which is kind of cool, that we a little bit inside of how we do things within Intel. I will also have an interview with JJ coming over talking about some motherboard chats. And then after the show, we're going to have like a Discord, also Q&A.
Awesome. So yeah, there's lots going on today. It's going to be quite an afternoon.
Yes.
So Alejandro, I know you and I were talking a little bit before about the overclocking that's happening today.
Correct.
Trying to maybe beat a world record.
Yes.
And I can actively see behind you right now, like my eye line is looking right at some pretty incredible stuff. So I believe maybe we get to check in with those folks pretty soon?
Yes, I think we will check with them. First, we'll do a quick video, kind of giving a quick rundown of overclocking, and then we'll go back to the experts, to these guys who are legends. Peter and John will introduce a little bit more when we move over there in a couple seconds. So first, we'll go into a quick video about about overclocking, and then we'll dive in more there.
Hey guys, we're currently in the lab here at Intel IDC. It's a little bit noisy, but it's okay. Just hang out with us. We're about to do some extreme overclocking with liquid nitrogen with Raptor Lake. So I am very excited because I want to see what frequencies we can reach. So now one of the things that we got to keep in mind when we do overclocking with the processors is first, once you do overclocking, the warranty is void. 2, we cannot guarantee that all processors, once you're overclocking them, will reach the same frequencies. And 3, just to let you know, yes, these parts have been handpicked so that we can actually see how high they can get. So let's get ready. Let's come over and see some overclocking.
My name is Yaniv Carmel. I'm leading overclocking activity here in IDC.
My name is Roy Miner. I'm from the overclocking team here in IDC. We started overclocking on Alder Lake on 12 Gen, but for Raptor Lake it was a very exciting experience. It was much easier procedure, and the frequency levels that we got were much higher. 13 Gen is based on the successful hybrid architecture of 12 Gen. It brings with it a significant clock speed improvement out of the box. It brings 8 P-cores and twice the number of E-cores for better performance. Overclockers want to get the maximum out of units. With the KSQ of Raptor Lake, they can do that because they have extended overclocking headroom and higher out-of-the-box frequencies. On a minute, we're going to show you how we take all 8 P-core to the limit.
All right, hello everyone. Welcome back. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. There's a lot of, this seems like the same guy that hasn't changed his shirt in a while, but it's good. But now we're here with some overclocker masters. We have Peter. Hi, Peter. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So we have Peter and we have John. Nice to meet you, John.
Hey.
Thanks. So tell me, Peter, what do you have today for us over here?
So I am overclocking the 13900KS, obviously.
Yeah,
but
that's
I'm
what we're
doing
doing.
it with water cooling. But
nice.
Not just regular water cooling. I'm making use of the EK-Delta² TEC. So it's
Okay.
a tech cooler that is powered by the Intel cryocooling technology.
Do you want
And it allows us to go sub-ambient on the CPU temperature. So I'll show you later on how much frequency I can get by going sub-ambient.
So what this means is, sub-ambient, so let's say currently we are I don't know what we are, let's say 64 Fahrenheit, 18, I don't know, I'm doing the conversion right. That means that the ambient, that's it right now, but with this TEC cooler, you actually be able to lower that and improve the thermals for it.
Yeah, so with a normal water cooler, you transport the heat through the water in the radiator and then exchange it with the air, right? But your water temperature cannot be lower than the air temperature. However, with this TEC cooler, we can get it lower than the air temperature.
Oh, that's awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Because I saw, we'll get to this, but I was like, oh, what's going on?
Speaking of cooler.
Speaking of cooler, but sorry. So yeah, so what do you have over here? Actually no, let's wait. And John.
Yep.
So what is all this going on? I see you have a lot of coffee, I'm kidding. But are you making ice cream?
Yeah, strawberry flavor.
Ooh, that's good. Yeah, tell us what's
we're
going
doing
on.
a little bit of liquid nitrogen overclocking.
Nice, liquid nitrogen.
So we're using the KS, obviously. And currently, we're running the CPU profile benchmark from FutureMark, 3D Mark, UL nowadays. So that lets us run like different thread loads. And we can kind of use turbo boost to optimize each thread count. So you go like 16 threads, maybe run like 7.7. So you can see now we're running like 7.9. That's for 8 threads right now. And then eventually now we're getting like 8 gigahertz for like one thread.
One thread, yeah.
And we're also running G-Skill memory at 8,000 megahertz.
Great.
So mega transfers.
So this, did you say 8?
8 plus 8, yeah.
Wow. so you're running a benchmark that starts, so it's different configurations, that it starts at 16 cores, then it goes to 8 cores, 4 cores.
Yep.
There's 2 cores, or just go from 4 to 1?
Yeah, 2
and 1.
Yeah.
So you just run through all of them. And you also have the memory overclock at 8,000 megatransfers per second.
Yep.
That is pretty sweet. And the idea for today is hopefully build a couple of world records, right?
Yep.
That's
the plan, yeah.
That's sweet. That's pretty awesome. All right, Peter, let's go play with this TEC cooler, with this liquid cooling. Tell us about a little bit of the setup that you have here, the configuration that you have going.
Right. So, well, I put it up in the BIOS, and I can quickly give you a rundown of the most important settings that I'm using.
Yeah,
right?
let's do that.
So the most important one is, actually, the second most important one is that we're running our G-Skill memory at DDR5 8000. Right, our friend at G-Skill really wanted to show
that is pretty impressive.
It's pretty important, but what's a little bit more important is what we will do with the CPU.
Yep.
So as you know, the KS CPU can run at stock 2 cores up to 6 gigahertz, and then all the cores at 5.6 gigahertz.
Yes.
But we're overclocking, so we want to make it run faster.
Correct.
And what we're doing with this configuration here, we're saying bi-core usage. So based on the amount of cores, the amount of P cores that are active, we're going to be running a different frequency. And I've configured it here that up to 2 active P cores, it will run at 6.7 gigahertz, so 700 megahertz higher.
Ahead. That's amazing. Yeah. Okay, so what about the other configuration for the other cores? So I see you have like, then it comes down. So when you hit 3, it's 6.5, and then 4, and so on. And then when you have all 8, it's still 100 megahertz higher.
Yeah.
There you go.
So all 8 will run at 6.1 gigahertz, so it's up from 5.6, so plus 500 megahertz, right?
This plus the memory running at
8,000.
8,000.
Yeah, exactly. And then a very important part of this type of a configuration, I want to quickly show you this as well, because this is pretty cool. It's called OCTVB, so it's called Overclocking Thermal Velocity Boost.
Yes.
And it allows you to change the ratio based on the operating temperature. So if you say, okay, my CPU can run 6.7 gigahertz at 15C, but not higher, you can do this with this tool. Like Intel engineers have developed this tool for us to like be very dynamic with our CPU ratio.
So if you're like below at 15 or below, you say like run a 6.7.
Yeah.
And if you're above, what do you have the next setting set up to?
So in this configuration, let's say 1 core active will start at 6.7. When it's over 15C, it will downbin 3. So it goes down to 6.4. 6.4 is a more reasonable frequency that we can run through benchmark.
I like reasonable. This is still pretty amazing.
6.7 is a nice, it's like the money shot, but you have to be getting it through the benchmarks as well. And then when it's above 50C, we downbin 1 more. So then we're like 6.3 G, right?
Nice.
And then we do the same with like 8 core active. So it starts at 61. 61x, so 6.1 gigahertz, up to 70 degrees Celsius. So some light workloads will pass it fine. Like in gaming workloads, for example, we'll run 6.1 gigahertz.
Oh, wow.
And over 70C, it will downbin 1. Over 80C, it will downbin 1 more. So a really heavy workload like Skatterbencher R23 will run 5.9 gigahertz.
Wow, that's great. So all this is pretty much due to all the different settings, the processor, Intel Cryo 2.0 technology, EKG, and of course, all the experience that you have. This is pretty sweet. Yesterday, we were talking a little bit about, actually, you were teaching me a little bit about of how you have, because sometimes when you're on different benchmarks, you want to step down, do a kind of a slow step down in frequency for stability. Can you dig a little bit more on that?
So that's actually the configuration with the 8 active cores. So what would happen is, let's say you run at 6.1 gigahertz, and your CPU will go all the way to 100C, which is TJ max, right?
Right.
After, if it hits 100C, it will automatically downclock as well to make sure that you stay below the maximum operating temperature.
Right.
But it can happen that the CPU is not stable when it goes really quickly to that operating temperature. So what we do with this configuration is make sure that, you know, after 70C, it already downbins 1. After 80C, it downbins 1 as well. So by the time it reaches 100C, it's about 5.9 gigahertz. If I would run, let's say, Prime 95, like a really, really heavy workload, it will not run 5.9 gigahertz because the temperature will be just too high. I think it will probably be around 5.6, 5.7 or something like that. But if I would not have this configuration and just have the 6.1 gigahertz, what would happen is I load the benchmark and it would be unstable because it can't do 6.1 gigahertz even loading the benchmark. So it gives you like a lot of tools to sort of fine tune your CPU configuration.
That's pretty awesome. So can we go, so for those who are like, wow, this is a great computer, you can give us a, what's the current configuration? What do you have in there?
So of course, like I said, the 13900KS, we're using the Asus Z790 Apex motherboard. EK-Quantum Delta² TEC, EK water loop as well, and then also G-Skill Trident Z5 DDR5 memory. I think the spec is DDR5 7800, but we're running at 8,000. You have to run at 8,000, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's also another ingredient in there that really caught my eye. I think the creator, but you might correct me if I'm wrong, is John from so he has ElmorLabs, and sorry for what's it called? Rolling?
Rick rolling.
Sorry for Rick rolling, everybody, but I don't know if you can see maybe a shot of there. They have a little screen of Rick going, never gonna let you down. You're welcome for that earwig in the rest of the show.
We'd have speakers with here.
I know. Yeah. This would be awesome. So it's great. I love the build. I think it's amazing, especially with the frequencies you're hitting from CPU to memory, and then using that different cooling. It's been great.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the 3900KS. Like, you know, these are frequencies that we've never seen before on desktop. So and it's just running like a daily system, right? This is not a test bench like John is running. This is just a gaming system essentially at 6.7. So
you can run this at home. Yeah.
So this is your daily driver per se.
I would love it to be my daily driver. We're gonna have to call with the EK guys to see if I can.
If we can have it as like maybe we'll make it work. Yeah. No, that's good. So no, thank you. This has been very, very insightful. I love it that what you guys have done. I'm very, very impressed. Keep picking your brain throughout the whole show, and then we'll also come back to John to see what he's doing a little bit later on. Give us a rundown of from extreme overclocking. What does he have there? What is he doing? And what records he wants to break later on? Not want to break. He's going to be able to break.
Right.
So we'll go from there. I think.
Sounds good. Yeah.
I feel a little. You guys are so color coordinated. It's amazing. I mean, you guys got the whole white background. We got Chippy. I feel like I should have, come on with you guys too on that.
Stay and hang out here, man.
I know. Well, I would love to stay hang out here, but there's also some other stuff going on over there that I really want to see going on. But with that in mind, I think we should be checking with our next desk over on the modding side. I think we're gonna go back to. I'm looking through. Oh well, no, not a little bit yet. So why? Oh, very soon we'll go back. So let's talk to John for a little bit more. So all right, John. What are you doing here? Let's start with the basics. So what is going on over here?
So basically we have all these options for how we can tune the different CPU cores.
Yeah, so before we go there, what is this for the people who are seeing this for the first time?
It's a PC system.
Yeah, it's a PC system.
Just without the case.
Yeah, without the case. Motherboard. What motherboard are you using?
We got a C790 Apex from ROG.
Nice.
1300 KS CPU. And an ARC A380 graphics card.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. So, yeah.
Yeah, some G.Skill 7800 megahertz memory. We're running it at 8,000.
8,000. Wow. I see a theme going on over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. All right. So with that said, we got the parts done. We'll come back and check on what you're doing, trying to achieve here. With that said, we'll go over to Trisha, to the Blue Horse and PC Junkie Mud's desk. So we're going to be heading over there saying how the guys doing and how the build is going on. So, hi guys. Hey guys, and welcome back. I am so excited about the overclocking and trying to see if we can beat some world records that I kind of forgot that I was going to answer a couple of questions that you guys have asked through our different chats, through Discord, and also through the Twitch chat. So I got some questions here that I would like for you guys to, well, you send me, I'll be answering to you. The first question that we have is, will there be overclocking headroom in the 13900 KS? I think the answer to, well, no, I think the answer to that is yes. As we have seen, Peter, he has been able to get 6.7 gigahertz. Of course, he has liquid cooling. So yes, there is headroom. How much headroom there is, depends. The answer to that is depends. And because it depends on the processor that you get. It depends on what type of cooling do you have. It depends on the airflow of your case. So there's a lot of things that will dictate how much you can get. And also, like we said, it's silicon lottery also has to play a couple of things in there depending on what you have. So yes, the short answer, yes, there is overclocked headroom there to crank it even more. It'll depend on what you currently have on your system configuration. All right, the next question that we have is, can it be overclocked to 10 gigahertz? I would love to say yes to that. I think that's awesome, but I think, so these guys that actually with us, John and Peter, they beat the world record. They hit 9 gigahertz. And that was a pretty good stretch. So even though I would like to say yes, I think we have reached please prove me wrong eventually, all the overclockers out there, but I think 10 gigahertz is a stretch. So I would love to see it, but currently from what I've seen, it's a little bit difficult. The next question that we have is, what is the frequency that it can reach with air cooling alone? Like I was mentioning earlier, it depends on what type of cooling, it depends what type of cooler do you have. You could have from an Evo 12 to a Noctua DH 14, 15, please double check me on that. And it will definitely vary on what you can hit, but as we have currently out of the box, you will be able to hit 6 gigahertz. Now, the duration that you'll be able to stay, the turbo duration, it will depend on your whole configuration. Yes, you should be able to see 6 gigahertz, but depending on your heatsink and the rest of the configuration of your system, it will dictate how long you will stay on turbo residency. Let's see, what else do we have here? We have, how does the motherboard power supply and other components affect the overclocking potential? Yes, definitely. So let's start with the motherboard. So the motherboard, it has to be a motherboard that is specifically for overclocking, right? Because it has to have all the different power deliveries, all the different buttons and knobs that are needed to be able to allow you to overclock. Because you have to provide a little bit more power, not a little bit, you have to provide more power, more current, a bunch of different things in order to be able to overclock. Also the chipset. So the chipset that it allows you to overclock for us is the Z790. And then you pair that with a K, with a KS, and that will allow you to do the overclocking. So for the motherboard, the motherboards, we can actually, later we'll talk with JJ, we'll talk about the detail on different features that it has, because there's a lot of different features that it comes to allow for overclocking. The latest one that I saw that I thought was pretty cool on a video that we did with the Asus team and John and Peter, the kind of cool that I saw is they had this button that allows you to set like different frequencies to like, okay, we're going to start slow first, like let's say 800 megahertz, and then when we need to go hit those world records, we press the button and it will crank up to the frequency that you want to hit. So yeah, go look on our Intel YouTube Tech channel. It's where we have the world record video, and in there they show it. It's pretty neat. I'll probably ask Peter and John more about it when we go back to the overclocking desk. All right, power supplies. You definitely want a beefy power supply in order to supply all the power and current that is needed for overclocking. And other components that affect the overclocking potential, processor. And processor, like we said, processor, heat sinks, all in one, depending on what you wanted to do. So everything, it's a whole platform thing that you need to keep in mind when you come to overclocking, one. And two, you got to also keep in mind, what do you want to overclock? Like, what do you want to do with it? Is it, do you just want it for like, hey, I can hit 7 gigahertz and have bragging rights? Or like, okay, I just want it to be to 6.2, so for certain tasks, right? And then when it's at idle, I want it to go down to 4.8, 5 gigahertz, depending on what you want. So kind of keep in mind what you really want to do with it. I mean, bragging rights is awesome, it's pretty cool. But you know, if it's your daily driver, keep in mind what you want to configure it to. Let's see. Is achieved megahertz the only metric for measuring an overclock? No. There are different, yes, I mean, no, there are different benchmarks that we're going to be running with John, different benchmarks that give you a score when it comes to overclocking. So you will run different benchmarks, and depending on the score, the higher the score, the better. So it's not only about frequency. Yes, frequency is kind of that big shiny object, the North Star to chase. But there's also plenty of other different types of benchmarks that you run to try to beat that score. So one of them that we're going to be looking at is 3D Mark from Future Mark. Peter was talking about also Prime 95. So there's several ones of different scores that we're trying to beat. And for all of these, there's actually world records that we're trying to see where we can get with the KS. Awesome, awesome.
Overall, some really cool stuff.
That's pretty cool, man. I appreciate it. So I think that we're going to actually go walk to the overclocking desk and see what these guys are up to, see if we can actually get some records or see what John's up to. So let's come over.
Yeah, so I think like you were talking about, actually, the cool part is we've got 2 different systems on display here.
Yes. Let's see if, let's come over this side.
On one side, right, we've got Elmore, he's rocking the Apex, which is actually under LN2, right?
Yep.
We got it under LN2, so how's the clocks going right now?
Yeah, pretty good. I think we have a chance to get at least one record.
Oh, one record? You want to go one world record? You had a chance, or
I got a good feeling about this.
You had already braked it.
We've seen promising numbers. Yeah.
What are promising numbers? So run us through so from the beginning. What are you doing? What is the current record? And So
right. So I think the one where we have the biggest chance of beating is the 8-thread score, which is currently 12,097 points.
Okay. So the 12-thread score for 3D Mark benchmark. All right. So it's currently 12,097.
Yeah.
So we're going to see if we can actually beat that world record right now.
I guess we'll find out.
It's running right now.
So this is always a little bit of the nature of the beast, right? When we talk about benching and overclocking, there's always this uncertainty that's in the air, right?
No guarantees.
You never know what's going to be going on, right? There's always that little bit of kind of consideration on the quality of your CPU, how the temps are going, whether you're able to get to that full pod experience, right? There's always, I would say it's equal parts luck, equal parts skill, and then there's always just a little bit of the X factor too that can kind of get thrown in there, right? Where just everything kind of
makes it exciting, you know.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have any guarantees. You know, are you gonna make it? Are you not? So when you actually make it, there's quite an adrenaline kick.
Yeah. I mean, because of course you're kind of in uncharted waters, right? You don't know what's going to be going on. So in terms of clock frequency, if you guys are not able to see, I don't know if we're outputting any of this, but right now it looks like we're somewhere around 7.8 gigahertz. So quite a big of a jump up in terms of the comparative out-of-the-box clock speed at 6 gigahertz. In terms of that, and then memory looks like we're running also overclock configuration 6200 MT, so that's of course higher than the default 5600 MT that you would see for Raptor Lake. Now on this side of the fence, I think we've also got kind of a cool setup, right? Because like here we're going definitely the extreme kind of segment, right? Where this is helping to kind of show what the limits of the platform can kind of reach. And on this side,
I think we're almost ready with the benchmark.
Let's see.
Last one.
Let's see. And it's good. We haven't no crashes yet.
Last one. Yeah.
16.
Yeah.
Counts down. Yeah.
16.8421. So we're aiming for the 8 thread, and we were also running through.
You have to run the full run to have a valid score. So.
Yeah. So.
There's such a thing.
In the past,
The perfect run.
I think we had that on.
I think one time we had something like that.
Not on Alder Lake, I think it was.
On the 12900, we got it, I think.
Really? Okay. Yeah.
Last time we're sessions in the past.
Oh, yeah, these guys.
Yeah.
All right, let's have a look.
Okay, let's see.
Is it over 12.0?
Drum roll to see what we got for the score.
Is it there? 12.4.
Yes,
All right, we got it.
Yes.
Yes.
So the previous one was 12,097.
Very good.
Now it's 12,488. There you go. So that is a new world record for the 8 thread.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
We'll
good
keep,
job, man.
Yeah.
So you're going to keep on...
We'll keep working on it. We'll see if we can
you gotta get
go
your
for the
sandbags
4
in,
thread, 2 thread, 1 thread.
Nice. So now this is going to go automatically uploaded to the website, to the FeatureMart website.
Yeah.
Oh, well, once
We have to move it over now and upload it.
and upload it, and it'll do this, and now it's saved. That is pretty impressive. Congratulations.
We'll be at the top of the leaderboards.
Yes. That was a good job, man.
Where the KS belongs, right?
Yeah, exactly. At the top.
Definitely, sure. Along with the Apex, right? Nice to be able to say that you're at the Apex with the Apex, right?
With the A380.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly. So I think going now after being able to, of course, have something that cool, right? We're still going to keep it cool because actually temp-wise, it's actually got a pretty cool cooling solution in here. I want you to go ahead and let us a little know here because I think the kind of perspective we wanted to have is kind of maybe extreme and then maybe kind of somewhat more realistic extreme, right? Still definitely on the higher end of the segment, right? Moving beyond, you know, what you would traditionally have like a 360 millimeter AIO and custom water cooling. But would you let us know what we got going on?
So this is a fully built gaming system. I want to emphasize that because normally people think, oh, sub-ambient cooling, it's only in a test bench. No, this is a system that you can
inside of a chassis, normal setup, right? Kind of designed to be able to run as your daily driver, right?
Absolutely. You turn it on and you can just do whatever you want with it, right? So what I did in the BIOS was set the 1-core and 2-core P-core, so when one or two cores are active, to 6.7 gigahertz.
Right.
Taking advantage of that per-core overclocking.
Yeah, exactly. So you can see here, like it pops up to like 6.7 gigahertz once in a while.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And the CPU temperature currently is 5 degrees Celsius, so we're taking advantage of the
tech.
The cooling technology. And then also I tried to get the memory up to DDR5 8000, and you can see that it's running 4,000 megahertz here.
Yeah,
so
DDR, so
that's awesome.
Rate, so that's
and the really cool thing too is just to be able to see that simultaneous effort, right? Just in terms of just the impressiveness of the architecture to be able to drive such a high level on the IMC side, but then still be able to drive a pretty aggressive CPU frequency at the same time. Because sometimes, right, it's a balancing act, right? Sometimes you got CPUs that are stronger just for the CPU side on the IMC, and you're going to lose out on frequency. But here to be able to actually run both, right? That's awesome. Of course, helps from the fact that we're running, of course, an Apex board, right? Only two DIMMs, right? But awesome to be able to see 8,000. I mean, I didn't think we would see that so early on.
I'm running 8,000. He's running 8,000. That's pretty much equal, right?
This is amazing, and I can't wait to see what else we have in store. But right now, we're going to go back to Trisha. She's going to be interviewing Cup of Noodle. It's going to be pretty awesome to see what we can learn more about her. Guys, thank you very much. And Trisha, how you doing? Take it over to you. Thank you. I'm going to come over here because I think we're going to go back to the overclocking desk to see what these guys are doing. Whoa. Let me come over here. I'll move. I have a couple questions for John. Because he has a lot of cool toys. Let me set the mic over here. And okay, so you've been doing LN2 all day. You got a world record. You don't get that every day. That was pretty awesome. Pretty impressive. Under pressure.
Thank you.
Yeah, smooth, cool, like a cucumber. All right, so there's a couple of things that I've seen that you have in your setup. So first of all, there's this little, I don't know if we can get it. This little black, this little thing.
This thing.
What is that jigamadoodle? What does that do?
That is ElmorLabs Hot, which is the heater we're using to keep the motherboard cozy when we're cooling down the CPU.
So why do you need it to keep it cozy?
The only benefit we kind of get is to cool down the CPU. And the motherboard is designed to work at ambient temperature, so we kind of want to keep it there to be able to run as long as possible and like not have any problems.
So you want the CPU to be as cold as possible, but you still want the motherboard to be at ambient temperature, and that becomes a little bit challenging just because you are pouring Allen to elevate it, and of course it spreads, but that guy, his whole job is to keep the motherboard at ambient temperature and keep the things running.
Yep.
So that's awesome.
Exactly.
So that's from ElmorLabs. That's pretty sweet.
Yep, fair.
Yeah, there you go, ElmorLabs. There's another one that is also pretty cool.
Then we have a power meter, so it's showing
here.
the full system power consumption. In this case, including the heater.
Oh, so it's also including the heater, accounting for the heater.
Yeah. So you can, well, if we would have checked it a little bit earlier, we could have seen like during the 16-thread test, for example, we'd see it hit like 250, 300 watts. And now during the one thread, maybe it's more like, you know, not even 100, or like maybe down to 50 even. Because actually the CPU gets more efficient when we cool it down.
Oh, that's impressive. Okay, so we got those two. And for the people who are just joining us, what is all the different parts that you have for this bench that has been built? So motherboard, everything. Let's do a little bit of recount.
We have one more tool, of course, which is a thermometer.
Oh yeah, sorry,
I think we did.
Forgot.
Did we see that before?
No,
maybe on the Discord stream, I think.
Yeah. So this is the thermometer that actually currently shows the actual temperatures of the the processor is at.
Yeah.
So I think
like
it's
the heat
saying
sink of the CPU.
Yeah, I think it's still saying negative 192.
Can you move a little
Celsius?
bit? Thanks.
I'll bring it back.
You want to keep this running?
Yes.
Right?
Just hold your arm.
Yeah.
Negative 191 Celsius.
Yeah. Then we have this is an open bench table.
Oh yeah, where's that
set
from?
up
That's
for.
Really nice.
It's specifically designed for like this type of test bench, right? So like your testing systems. I'm sure in your labs you'll see these types of setups.
This one's really nice, but I haven't seen one. We have something similar, but this one's really nice. Okay. I really like it.
Matching the silver theme here.
Yes, I saw that with the Apex white. So okay, so you have this test bench, power supply. What have power supply? Was the motherboard?
So basically you have back here, right? So we have this RG Strix 1000 watt power supply we're using.
Yeah, so this is the 1000 watt power supply that these guys are using right now to do the overclocking.
Like we said before, we're 250, 300 watts, so we have quite a bit of margin with this one.
Oh, nice. So it's only pulling for. That's good because
we have an A380 in here. So if we put the 480, maybe then
that's a different story.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So the video card that you have right now is an A380.
Yep.
Of course, you have the 13900 KAS processor. You have the Asus Apex motherboard. What do you got on memory?
Some G-Skill Trident C. C5.
C5.
It's 7800 megahertz rated, so like XMP.
Rated, and then you XMP it too?
Yeah.
Nice. And now you just overclock it too.
Yeah.
Did you change the timings on that to get it up there? Or just?
Yeah, they're dialed in. Yeah.
How many DIMMs did you populate? Did you just populate it one DIMM, or you did 2 DIMMs?
No, both
DIMMs. Yeah, together. Nice.
Dual channel. We need that.
We need
extra
that
memory performance. Yeah.
Yeah, to get those numbers.
Yeah. That's about it. Well, we have some RG peripherals, but in terms of overclocking.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit more about 3D Mark and what it is and what you're trying to test, just to go over that again. So right now you're running 3D Mark. You're running 3D Mark. Where is it exactly right now?
Right now this just finished. So it will tell us like loading into the next test, but like you said before, it will start with 16 threads and then it will go down to 8, 4, 2, and 1. And, might have crashed there. We are chasing records. It's going to be a little bit on the edge.
Happens.
So we'll restart that. We can maybe see then, like it's going to take a bit to load in. But
with this, so what John was saying is the 3D Mark is a benchmark that we use. Actually, there was one of the questions that we had earlier in the Q&A. So we're not only chasing frequencies as overclocking, we're also chasing scores in benchmarks. And 3D Mark is one of the benchmarks that we are chasing today. And actually, we already got one world record for the 8 threads. 3D Mark will run different types of core. So, John, correct me. Yeah.
I don't know if they can see the screen now, but
they can see
like we can configure like each core, what's the maximum ratio. So this would be like 8 gigahertz, 8.1 gigahertz.
Right.
Then we can also adjust like depending on how many cores are active at the same time.
Yes.
Just like Peter explained before.
So for
we're
example,
using the same strategy to get the maximum amount of performance out of the system.
Okay. So right now it's doing 16 cores, and you set it to a specific.
So now it's running max threads.
Yeah.
And we see it does go up to 8 because
Yeah.
But it's basically 7.7 for 16 threads,
16
so, which is where we're running now. So we'll see it jump around a little bit, like 7.7, 7.8.
Right. Yeah, depending on the headroom that you have.
Exactly.
So that was 8, and then it's 4.
Now we see 8.
Oh, now it's 8.
Yeah, it was max, and then 16.
Okay.
Now we see 8, right? So we also see it slow down a little bit because it's not using the full CPU, right? But depending on your workload, like you know, which ones you're interested in, you can pick which one you want to look at, right?
All right, so while we wait, while the benchmark is running, let me go over a little bit about the ways you can enter and also donate for the contests that we're going on. So there is the enter type, the enter type to do it, then there's the register, and then there's the donate. So the first two will give you an entry for each of the 3 PCs, and then the donate, you can actually choose which one would you like to, which one to support. Now that we're a little bit more, have a better look of how the pieces are coming out, then you could be like, oh, maybe I want to do Liquid House, maybe I want to do PC Works, or man, that Blue Horse Studios, it looks really, really solid. So yeah, we're going there. So it looks pretty good. All right, so now we're going back to...
This is now the last test.
Yeah, so that was the last test.
I did restart run. Actually, I figured out what we were talking. I forgot to cool down the system, so actually that's why it crashed. My bad, I guess.
It's all good. You know, it's all good.
It happens.
Well, don't worry. We got time. We'll come back. Yeah.
So this is one thread. We'll see. This could be. I'm not saying guaranteed.
All right. This could be.
If it's a good run, it's going to be close.
All right. We'll stay tuned for that one.
Yeah.
Now we're going to go back to Trisha and Almighty Bones. We're going to have a great learn more about James, since you always going. Hi, Trisha. Well, guys, I just heard news that we got flash news over over the overclocking desk.
Oh.
So we're going to shift it over to Trisha to see what's going on.
Nice.
All right.
Oh my goodness, everybody. Another world record has just been broken. Peter and John, I will let you tell everybody all about what just happened.
Right, so we just got the highest ever single thread score in CPU profile benchmark. So it's official. The KS is now also on LN2, the fastest single thread CPU. And it was running 8.1 gigahertz to get this score.
Awesome. So the previous record, I know it was just pointed out to me, the previous record was 1752 with 1T, and now we're at 1758.
Yep.
Woo! So what are your moves next? Where are you going from here? I feel like, where is there to go from here?
We have 8T, we have 1T, and now we have 2T and 4T left.
Well,
so
we got the 8T and the 1T scores. So next will be 2 and 4, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, I love it. This is absolutely amazing. Congratulations, you guys. I feel honored that it happened here during the Intel Creator Challenge. This is the place to be. This is absolutely awesome. So yeah, walk us through. I know people have been, you've been hanging out here with Alejandro. I know people have been watching you. Walk us through the process, what you have to do to set these records.
Well, you have to learn to overclock.
Well, yes,
right?
you do. And we did have the Overclocking 101 a little bit earlier.
You do have Peter here. He has a YouTube channel. Very good videos for learning how to overclock.
You got a K CPU and a Z motherboard, and that's all you need to get started.
Okay. And what about this fancy setup over here?
Yeah, that's a little bit more extreme. So I'm actually making these LN2 containers.
Okay.
So you need one of those to put the liquid nitrogen in.
Yeah.
Then you need a thermometer. You need, like Peter said, motherboard, CPU, your basic PC system, and then you need to find somewhere you can get some LN2.
Then you need a CPU that can run very low temperatures as well. So not all the CPUs can run at minus 196 degrees Celsius. So you cool them down, and as you cool them down, you can use higher voltages, increase the frequency. And then for this 1T, because we're focusing on only a single thread workload,
right.
On every CPU, you can also pick which core is the better one. So not all cores will overclock, as high as the other cores.
Sure.
So you have to put in a little bit of effort to figure out which core can run the highest frequency. And then if you do everything right and you have a good CPU and everything works out, then you can get a record with the tiniest of margins possible, but 6 points It's enough to get a world record.
It absolutely is. Congratulations again. This is so exciting. I mean, you know, we're all kind of running around here. There's a lot going on at Intel Creator Challenge. But when we hear that a world record has been broken, you run over here. And in my case, you run over here and also step on a box because I'm real tiny. But I feel very tall, and I feel very honored here to be with you guys now. So congratulations to both of you. Continue the great work. And at this point, we'll head back over to Alejandro over with PC Works earlier to get some Q&A and a little post-stream goodies as well. Thank you all so much for joining us both on Twitch and Discord, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
See you.